Hello. I know I said I wasn't sure if I'd be able to be here today, so I'm very happy to be able to be here today. I am in Palm Beach, and I'm excited to go to the live, whatever, TGL Golf. Finals start tonight and tomorrow. And so I'm excited to go over there after we're done here, but as it's a later game, I have the ability to be here, so yay! So it is an abbreviated version, not so much for time, but just as far as like what I have with me being in a hotel and what I can travel with. So we do have our, I love these, the pocket cards, pocket guide. So this is the Wisdom of the Oracle pocket cards for Colette Baron Reed's cards, and look, anybody that's going to make a pocket deck, I'm all about it. Okay, so Thursday night, Friday morning, we said goodbye to our 21-year-old dog, and I had told you, because we're in Mercury retrograde and Venus Venus is also in retrograde, sorry. So my brain is a little scrambly because I'm not at home, but I'm also, we just have had this thing that has happened. So our dog was 21. This is our second dog that we've had that has lived to be 21. It's pretty amazing. And this was my son's dog that he got when he was 6, and he's 27 now. So needless to say, this was a very bittersweet, very difficult passing, because she did not pass peacefully. It was really a bit more traumatic, a lot more traumatic than she deserved. And so we're really, there's great gratefulness that she is at peace. There is gratefulness. Thank you very much. It was really, Friday was terrible. There's gratefulness that she is at peace. There's gratefulness that we had a dog for 21 years. She was about 6 months when we got her. And the thing is that what happens, so this was Friday morning, and Saturday I was supposed to come down here, and I eventually made my way down here, but the thing that happens is we can get so in the place of panic over what didn't happen. And this is the thing that I want to talk about today, because after she passed, I had gratitude that I was there with my son, and that we were able to I was able to be there for him and to help him through this, and that we made decisions together, and all the things, like everything went as well as it could have gone as far as that was concerned. But as soon as everything was over, I realized I'm leaving the next day to come to Palm Beach, and oh my God, what if? And my mind goes, what if this had happened and no one was home, and she fell and she hurt herself, and that was really what, was the end. And for a 21-year-old dog to fall, I mean, think about your, 99-year-old, grandpa. And so what if I wasn't there? What if, because my younger son works, my older son doesn't live there, what if, and so I started to go down this rabbit hole of what if, of all these things that did not happen. And so this is what I want to talk about today, because we can do that, and we can torture ourselves over stuff that it was over. We said goodbye to her. And so there's literally no reason for us to be thinking these thoughts, except how many times do we do this, where we start to ruminate over, what could have been in a negative, like, oh my God, what if that had happened? And it's like, well, but it didn't. So I want to remind everyone that we are still in Mercury retrograde. Okay, we are in the third quarter of the moon, right? It's still, my watch says technically waning, but the new moon is Thursday, right? Let me just double check that I just said that right. It's on wrong month calendar. The new moon is Saturday. Okay, so we have one more week, less than a week, for for this last quarter of the moon. And so we know that as the moon energy comes down, we can start to feel this heaviness, this tiredness. We can be more emotionally vulnerable to allow our thoughts to go off the rails. And so wherever you are and whatever you're dealing with right now, please remember we've got Mercury retrograde until the very end of the month. Okay, so that's going to take us into the end of the new moon. Plus then there's the window of Mercury energy, you know, because we know we have the pre-window and the after window. And that's about 14 days. Then we have Venus, which is a very strong, emotionally motivated planet that is all like wreaking havoc right now of like relationships and rethinking relationships and what's going on, you know. And this is where we can get into rumination of, did I do this right? Did I, you know, what would I do different? And oh, what would happen if? And oh, the wouldas and shouldas and couldas, right? And this is Venus retrograde excels at that, and except that it'll make us crazy, okay? And so there are things that where we can revisit something that could make a difference. For example, if you had crosswords with someone and you maybe didn't handle it correctly and that can be fixed, then we definitely want to look at that and say, okay, what can I do in this situation that I can try and make this better, okay? In the situation of, you know, our dog had passed, there's nothing for us to do to make it better. It's over. She's, you know, gone and hopefully at peace, and I know she's out of pain, and she had an amazing, amazing life with us. I mean, dogs don't stick around for 21 years if they're not happy, and if she really, like, her heart did not like want to stop beating. It was incredible how she held on. It was just, I'm baffled at how she held on, because she just, her heart just didn't want to leave us. And I believe that, and I know my son loved her, you know, they were like soulmates. I mean, just really, and so if there's nothing that is going to change, okay, then what is the benefit of trying to ruminate or spending the time ruminating on the wouldas, couldas, and shouldas if the situation is finished and there's nothing to go back for? If there is something where we can make a change, make a different decision, mend a fence, if we can walk a different way, then it is worth considering, but only you know what the answer to that is. And so what I encourage you to do is allow Venus retrograde to work in your heart in a way that makes sense to you. If it is not making sense to you, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And we really want to take these things into account over this next week, because we have this time as the moon is coming down into this last quarter and moving into this place where we're going to have the new moon, and we want to clear the decks. We want to set new intentions for the new moon as we're going to go forward, okay, starting next Saturday, this coming Saturday, okay? The other thing I want to remind you of, within Mercury retrograde, we want to try not to make big decisions. We want to try not to sign new contracts. We want to try not to, you know, this is not a great time to, like, you know, decide to, I mean, you can get, you know, you want to get engaged, yay, but maybe don't get married during Mercury retrograde. You know, you want to, you know, maybe you can start a new job because this is when it starts, then that's great. But just be careful, be mindful about the things that you want, and the things that you are agreeing to, the things that you are signing contracts and things during Mercury retrograde, to be able to say, let me take a beat on this, and so I have this, let me sit on it for 24 hours, let me think about it, let me feel how that feels, not to rush into anything, okay, because that's really important that we're not rushing forward, okay. The other part I want to remind you of, and we kind of forget about this because it's out there, is Pluto. Pluto, for the first time in like 250 years, is in our area of the solar system, in our neighborhood, and Pluto is around. And while Pluto is not retrograde, and Pluto, you know, stays in a sign for, you know, 18 months ish, 18, 24 months, I don't remember exactly, because, you know, remember, I'm not an astrologer, but Pluto stays and moves very, very slowly. So if he's, you know, and it's got to be more than that, because he stays, it takes, you know, so many years for him to come around and get back in our area. So nobody who's alive right now was alive the last time Pluto even came close to Earth, okay, because it's like 150 years ago. So knowing all of this, we want to be reminded that Pluto has a very strong energy for a little planet, and Pluto's kind of a shit starter, okay? So as things come in, and there's no coincidence that Pluto is in the neighborhood right now in this time where we're seeing so much strife and unrest and uneasiness and just rumbling of what's going on globally, not just in one country, but globally. And that's a lot with Pluto, because Pluto comes to like close chapters, and we are in a 9-year, 2025, this is a 9-year, and Pluto comes to like wrap things up and to create transition and change. So let's not forget that Pluto is out there, okay? So if you're feeling stirred up right now and you're feeling like emotionally vulnerable, or there's all kinds of stuff that you feel like you can't control, this is very normal for where we are and what's going on in the universe right now. So we want to not panic. We want to take breaths, and we want to make sure that we are moving forward, moving through this tumultuous time, really to the end of this month. I mean, just if you can just hold steady to the end of this month. And I know that's a tall ask, because we can't always do that. We can't control things, okay? And so it's important to remember, can I control? What can I let go of? How can I take a beat of before I make a reaction, or before I make a big decision about something or about someone or a situation? How can I just take a breath and, just breathe and welcome calm, and try to get some quiet and ask for clarity from the aboves, from the higher, so that we are moving forward, because this is a tumultuous time, okay? It really is. And it's going to be this way for another couple weeks, and then it's going to shift, okay? But in a larger sense, we're going to be in this tumultuous time for a lot longer period of time. And it's okay, but because we don't need to panic about it, but we do want to notice what is coming up and what's happening, but we want to be cautious about how we're reacting and how we're making decisions to it. Okay, so those are things I really wanted to share, that was really put on my heart to share with you today, because I feel like, especially some folks who are like, we're doers and we want to get stuff done, and okay, let me handle this problem. And that's really great, but this is not the time for that. This is the time that says, okay, there's a situation, it needs to be handled. Everybody take a breath. Everybody just take a beat, and we're going to just see what's the best way for us to move forward, okay? So that we're not, oh, that's so weird. There you all are. Hi. It was so weird. I had like the comments like not, I don't know, for whatever reason they weren't showing up. Hi everyone. Hi. Hi. I was like, it showed me I had a comment, but it's like, that's so weird. Facebook is so weird. Okay. So right now, this is the time, because a lot of stuff is going to be coming up. A lot of things are shifting and changing, but we want to not jump into all these things. We want to make sure we're not making snap decisions. We want to move, take a breath, and any decision that you can to sit on for 24 hours is strongly recommended. Like, I would strongly recommend. And Chris Judd says, Mark Twain quote, I have had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Worry is a misuse of your imagination. I know you have that posted on your wall. You've shared that one before. So let's, as we can, for things that maybe are not feeling great, let's try and stay in a mindset of gratitude. It really sucks that my dog died. However, my dog was 21 years old, and she lived an amazing life, and clearly did not want to leave her amazing life, even though her body was done. Okay? I am so grateful that I had this dog for my son, who was like, she was his everything. And, he would come home from school every day, and he would lay on the couch, and she was a real snuggler, and they would just lay on the couch and nap. You never get a kid, a school kid to nap, and he was like, dog. So there's a place of gratitude. How she passed, I wish it could have been different. I wish she would have passed without pain, but I'm grateful that we were able to do everything that we could and did for her. I'm grateful for the hard things. And this is really where I want you to think about for a second, because we are often not grateful for the hard things. We are relieved to get through the hard things. We get where we're like, gird your loins to get through the hard things. And then we're not grateful for the hard things. We're just like, thank you, love. I just got to push through. I got to get through. And we don't take the time, and I know it's going to sound weird, but we don't take the time to enjoy the hard things. And I'm not saying we should enjoy the stuff that sucks, because boy, that sucked. To watch my son and to like have to manage the situation of the dog in pain, and help make the decisions, and that sucked. And watching your child be in pain and not being able to like fix it for your kid, anyone who's a parent, that sucks. To see your kid is in pain and not be able to make it better sucks. But there's gratitude in it as well. And so when we look through, how can I be grateful for the stuff that sucks? So I'm grateful that we had the dog for so long. I'm grateful for all of the amazing things that she helped him through in times where he doubted himself, in times where he was struggling with who he is and how he is, and things were going on in his world, and he had this unconditional love from this magical dog. I'm grateful for the bonding that happened between my son and I because we walked this path together. I'm grateful for the shift in our relationship that was palpable because my son and I walked through probably his darkest day thus far in his young life together. I'm grateful that I had the strength and the wherewithal to be able to stay strong for him. And when the end of that Friday came and I was feeding the other two dogs dinner, and I went, because she's 21, there was a lot of things that went in her meal, pain meds and CBD and this pill and that pill, and because she was a billion. And when I had given it all, like I had put it all away, and now there was nothing for me to do. And when I went to go and feed the other two dogs, and I was like, there's no there, and my heart just, and that was really when I lost it. And I came to the couch and I was just crying. And I was trying to not, and I just said to my son, I said, I'm sorry, I can't hold it in anymore. I have been trying so hard to be strong for you, I just can't. Now it's my time to grieve. And he came and sat next to me on the couch, and he was like, I totally get it, you don't have to be strong, we're both in this, and I love you, and the shift in our relationship was just, I'm very grateful for that. And so where are the things that we can be grateful for in the suck? Because we're always gonna have an opportunity for something in our life that just freaking sucks. Something that is hard for us to walk through. But there's a choice in that to see where we can find a glimmer of gratitude. A glimmer, right? And so how can we embrace some place of gratitude? And I'm never ever going to say, everything happens for a reason, or, God needed an angel, or any of those things, because loss is hard, period. But in anything that's difficult, there can also be some place for us to be in gratitude. Some place where there can have a piece of grateful something. And that's a part that we are not conditioned to look for. We're always, well, this sucks, so everything else is going to suck. And we're conditioned to look for more suck. And what I would like to suggest is that if you can avoid looking for that and maybe look for the blessing that's in it, that can really shift how we go forward. So I'm incredibly grateful that she passed on Friday and not on Saturday when nobody might have been home. I'm very grateful that we were all able to be there except my husband. I'm very grateful that we were able to get the help that we needed for her. I'm very grateful that we had her for 21 years. And I'm very grateful to be able to have been there for my son. So, sometimes we have to zoom out a little bit, which is hard when we're in the middle of the suckiness. And so this is just this reminder that if you're going through something that's hard, first of all, you are not alone, period. And it's full stop. And if you are in this community and you're going through something sucky and you need to send a message or make a post or something, please let us know, because we do want to support each other. Okay. And second, sometimes we got to zoom out, that we can see things from a different perspective. Okay. So when we lose young people or lose a child or, things like that, sometimes there's just no explanation. There's nothing to make it better. And it's really hard to look for, where can there be some kind of blessing in this? What piece of this can I be grateful for? And recently, where there was some kids that were killed in a car, two cars the kids that were drag racing, and one of the kids was a kid that was going to Duke University in the fall, and the driver of the one car and the 3 kids in the other car, and I just think to myself, I am so unbelievably grateful that my kids were never like tempted to be part of that stuff. So even in anything that we can find something to be grateful for, even if it's I'm glad to be not in the middle of that, because I can't even imagine what those parents are going through. Sharon asks, are the other two looking for their sibling? Yeah, I think so. I can see that Buddy who's this 85-pound Bernese Mountain Dog. He's a tricolor, and I can see that he's sad, and I see the cat, my Susie cat, who came and laid with us on the mat on the floor with Dixie, because she and Dixie were very good friends. So, and all of the animals came to pay respects or to be with her, or to spend some time. It was very sweet to see my cat, who really Riley, my other cat, really loved her, but I didn't see him. He's very young, and I didn't see him around her very much. But Susie came, and she would sit on the mat with us, and she was licking her ear, and so I think that they are looking for her. But Bo, the little one, the little Chihuahua, you sometimes see me bring him on screen, Bo's pretty self-involved, so I think maybe he's not looking for her so much, but it's okay. I know my older son was over the house for a while today, and giving them lots of love and scritches, and they'll be okay, and I'll be home tomorrow, so we'll be able to give them lots of extra love. So Chris says, someone very smart often says that spirit doesn't do things to us, it does things for us, which I very often forget. Yeah. And, so I look at that, and you're right. And I don't know who would have told you such a thing, but I do believe that spirit does things for us to help us move us forward on our path. And look, the dog was 21. She couldn't stay forever. However, there were definitely blessings in that. So we try to look for the blessings. And so this is just a reminder of that. So, all right, let's grab. So I have I have 2 tiny decks today. So we have the Malachim, which is the Israeli Arabic English angel deck, and then I do think Brenda asked, do we think the animals knew that? I do think the animals knew that she was passing, because there's you're so funny, Christian. I do think that I don't want to be graphic or whatever, but there are things that happen. As my son said, she's a carbon-based life form. These things happen before somebody dies, and so there are things that happen, and I think that the animals definitely knew. Buddy, who was the bigger one, was very nearby. Bo was trying to get in any lap that he could to try and comfort somebody. Please let me comfort you, let me get in your lap, let me lick you, something that he could do. And like I said, the cat. So I do think that they knew, and it was not as fast as I would have hoped it to be, because her heart just, she just wouldn't go. So I do think that the animals know. But I also, here's the other thing I know about animal communication is that animals choose when they go, which is why her heart just would not stop beating. Because what is going on with my hair? But animals choose when they go, and so her heart would not stop beating because she just didn't want to go. And so, I know, like when Toby passed, who was also 21, and my Maltese, if you've been around with me for a while, you would have seen Toby a couple years ago. And Toby, he waited until I left town, and he passed the next morning. And I had said to him when I left, I said, I love you, and you're 21, and if you need to go, and he had a heart problem, I said, if you need to go, just go. And so he passed the next morning. I felt terrible because my husband was the one who had to, handle that. And he's like, I'm so sorry I did everything. I said, you're fine. Everything, like, I know, because Toby chose that time to go. Whereas Dixie, well, one, as much as I love Dixie, she wasn't the smartest dog in the house. But she also, I just think she didn't want to go, because I think she would have, been a billion to not leave her boy. So I do believe that animals choose when they go. So there's that. All right, so I just picked 2 cards out of the Malachim deck, and so it's not gonna be any big surprise that the first card that I pick is Ahava, which is love. Ahava, I don't know how to say it in Arabic, but I know in Hebrew Ahava is love. And that the second card is Slicha, which is forgiveness. So not a surprise. And 2 words I know very well. So slicha, and Hebrew is read from the right to the left. So you read it from this side, slicha. So we have love and forgiveness, and one of the things. So with this deck, we are instructed to pick 2 cards and to explore how those things go together. And so when we love, we have forgiveness, because what is that famous poem? Love means never having to say I'm sorry, right? So part of that also is about forgiving ourselves. And so when we're dealing with things that are very difficult, it's important to remember that as we are moving through this time of all the retrogrades and so much planetary energy shifting around and coming down into the new moon cycle, to forgive ourselves as well. Okay, that we are able to say, I did the best that I can in the situation with the information and the abilities I had at the time. And we can extend this compassion to others as well and say to them or to ourselves, I believe this person, this animal, this whoever, is doing the best that they can in the moment, in the situation, with the information and the abilities they have at the time. Okay, and this is how we can, allow ourselves to have compassion and forgiveness for ourselves and for others. Okay, so we have these 2 cards. We have love and forgiveness, which they often go very hand in hand, right? Of loving someone or a pet or a human means we're going to have to forgive them for things. Okay, loving someone, including starting with ourselves, means we're often going to have to forgive ourselves for things. Okay, so these things are important. Love and forgiveness go hand in hand. And so in the Hebrew we have slicha and we have ahava in for love. Okay, so we have Hebrew and English and Arabic. Okay, so let's look at the 3 cards that are going to be our cards for the week in the little tiny travel deck. Oops, little tiny travel deck doesn't want to shuffle. And we'll do our general card reading, and then we'll do some individual card readings. Okay, and then next week we'll be back home and back to normal. And then the following week, the week of maybe a few weeks, April 20th, I think, is when I will be traveling again. So Easter week, the Monday after Easter. So we will not be together that day. All right, so we have, what do we need to know what's going on this week, right? This comes in upside down. This is time for a nap. So this comes in upside down. So let me show it right side up so you can see it. Time for a nap. And so we have tiny cards. Time for a nap. Now this is card 24, so 2 and 4 is 6. But we look at 4, right, is an angelic support number, right, spiritual support, 4 legs of the chair or table. 2, also angelic support, wings, arms, legs, pairs. So in any way that you slice it, 2 and 4 equals 6, but 2 and 4 are showing us that we are being supported, we are not alone, that Spirit is with us, angels, guides, loved ones, and that it's time for us to rest, that it's okay for us to rest. It's okay for us to say, I need a break. I need to just take a beat. I need to just take a breath. I need to not answer the phone, not answer the emails. I need to go for a walk. Self-care is a priority, okay? And knowing that we are being cared for and that everything else will be okay in the universe if it's okay for us to walk away from it, okay? And so here you have the little guy is resting inside the crook of the moon, okay? All right. What else do we need to be aware of this week? And this is mending. And so this is card 52, so 5 and 2 is 7. This also comes in upside down. Mending. Let me turn it right side up so you can see it. Okay. Mending. And so mending reminds us that it is important for us to take stock of those relationships, as we were talking about before with Venus in retrograde, and look at those relationships and look what could be or could be changed or what have you. But because it's upside down, it's in the protection position, it's reminding us that we want to make sure we're keeping boundaries. So if we are taking steps to look at relationships and where we could have done something different, remember what we talked about in the very beginning. Is there a purpose to this? Like, is this going to be a benefit to something, or is this situation is closed and done and there's nothing that we could do differently? Like in the case of my dog, she's gone. There's nothing I can do differently. And so going back and ruminating on that and trying to mend something, there's nothing there to mend, okay? But if you have a relationship with somebody who is here that you can mend, okay, great. Take a look at that and make a decision for yourself. But with this card coming in upside down, it's a reminder about boundaries, okay? It's a reminder of we're only going to mend if it's going to, there's a purpose to it, okay? We're not mending because somebody wronged us and we want to, you know, just smooth it over because we're a people pleaser. No, no, no. We want to have boundaries, okay? And so if you have people around you that are maybe narcissists or energy vampires or controllers and things like that, and you're being made to feel guilty for mending, then that's, you know, this card is this reminder that we do not have to mend the stuff that is not going to be healing to us to be in the process of mending. So if mending is going to harm you or stir up stuff that does not need to be stirred up, that you've dealt with and put it away, and you don't need to, you know, so a few months back, I guess, a month or so back, my narcissist showed up out of the blue because, you know, I wasn't surprised, but he's like, hey, I was thinking, you know, we should really get together and blah, blah, blah. And I was getting all these signs from the universe that maybe you were trying to send me a message. And I'm like, nope, have a good day. And I can guarantee you I'll never hear from him again. And that's fine. So boundaries. Okay. So when we understand that this is a time of healing and mending, we want to also make sure we're keeping our boundaries. Okay. So you get to decide for yourself, is this worth my energy, time, and, you know, what the potential outcome could be. Or if it's not, then you say, thank you very much. I have done the best that I could do in this situation with the information and abilities that I have at the time, and I am putting it away. And that is okay too. Okay, when it comes to mending, we get to choose. Okay, and this card coming in upside down reminds us that we are not required to mend. We can use our boundaries. Okay, all right. And what is the last thing that we need to know to help us get through this week? And this comes up also upside down. This is 21, so 3. And this is clean it up, and it comes in upside down again. And clean it up reminds us, you know, we got to clean up our stuff, right? So it goes right into mending, but we got to clean it up. But the fact that it's upside down reminds us to stay in our lane. We're not cleaning up someone else's mess. We are cleaning up our own. We're staying in our own. We're handling our own stuff. We're cleaning up our own house. We're cleaning up our own space. We're not cleaning up someone else's mess. Okay? And so this just reiterates the boundaries that are extended in the mending card being upside down. And the time for a nap card reminds us that it is okay for us to say, you know, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. So there was something that happened. I can't even remember what it was. My husband was telling me something. So my husband is works for a sports league on ESPN called TGL Golf. And if you know golf at all, it's this sort of new indoor virtual reality golf thing. But he was telling me, because now he's in this world, and so he's telling me about this, you know, cool thing that happened that a golfer did with chased an alligator off the golf course with a golf club. And he's tried to explain it to me and and I just thought, I don't have a need to put my energy into understanding this. So I listened to the story. I said, thank you for sharing. That's very interesting. But there was something he was saying about it that was like, I didn't understand. And I was like trying to understand. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to put my energy into understanding this. So, sorry. Sun is shifting outside. And so to be able to make that decision, lots of sun. That's okay. Okay. To make that decision, and the lights in the hotel room are crap, so I apologize. So that we get to decide for ourselves where those boundaries are. Do I want to be involved in this? Do I want to stay in my lane? And so I just said, thank you for sharing that funny story with me. I'll just accept that it was a funny story, and we're going to move on. And so it is okay to say that. Okay, so having the boundaries, staying in our lane, we're only cleaning up our own stuff. We're not cleaning up for somebody else. Okay? So those are the things that are important for us to know. Take a break, take a breath. Make sure self-care, of course, because there's so much strong, heavy, chaotic energy up there right now. No big decisions until the end of the month, right? We've got Mercury retrograde is going to go to the 29th or 30th. Let me see. Mercury retrograde is going to go all the way to the 7th of April. It's going to go all the way to the 7th of April, and then the window beyond that of the post-retrograde is about 2 more weeks. So we've got Mercury retrograde energy with us for a while. We've got Venus retrograde, and like I said, let's not forget Pluto is hanging around out there stirring up trouble. So cleaning up our own stuff, stay in our lane, make sure that we're not cleaning up for other people, and that we are mending fences, mending relationships where it is reasonable and pertinent to do so. Okay? All right, let's do some card reading for you all. So what can I do for you? If you are ready for a card, let me know, and we'll do a little of that. Is the internet slow or nobody wants a card? Ah, okay. I gotta click on this because I'm Michelle. Hello, darling. All right. So Michelle, we've got, oh, I love this card. This is Blessed. So this is card 22. I love that because it's 2 and 2. So you have 4, you have that level of support, right? 4 legs of the table. And then you have 2 and 2, which is the pair angel numbers that are like, we've got you, we're supporting, and you've got that doubly with this. So you have the Blessed card. And so she is knowing that she's tied into the universe. She's going forward. She's riding on her little magical snail shell, and she is not got a care in the world, right? And so she is trusting 100% in the universe and staying in that place of gratitude and just knowing that whatever it is going on, it's all going to be okay. And so this is what we're talking about. And honestly, I'll tell you, 22 is one of the best numbers you can get because you have the angel number and then you have the angel number again and you add it together and you have the 4 and you are fully supported. So Michelle, this is a golden ticket for you, my friend. So everything that's going on right now, just know that it is 100% working for you, that they are 100% supporting you, and that you have support coming from even from unexpected places, and your job is to just stay in a place of gratitude and enjoy the ride. Okay, so that's where you are right now. Okay, all right, we're gonna do Brenda as well on Instagram, and I see all the Facebook comments have come in, so we'll do that in a second. All right, so you are welcome. All right, so we've got Brenda. This is Chalkwood. So this is card 42, so 6. And the 6 is like you're over the hump of the hard part, but you still have some work to do, Brenda. And so this is also a reminder to stay in your own lane. So this card's right side up, but you'll notice that the broom is mostly in the center. It's a little off to the side, tells you you're a little bit over the hump of the hardest part of this chapter in your week, in your life, but you're not done with the work yet. And it's important that you are the one doing the work. So it's important that you're not doing someone else's work. This is, again, staying in your own lane, but this is that you get to make decisions for your own self. This is where you're not 100% in the center here, you're slightly off center, which means you're 51% of the vote here, okay? So whatever it is, you're slightly off the center, and so you want to remember that you're 51% of any partnership because you are the one that's in charge of you, and so you get to make these decisions here, okay? And so that you get to make sure that you're doing your work, you're not doing someone else's work, and that you are making the decisions that are coming from your heart, and you're not coming from the wouldas, or the oughtas and the shouldas, okay? So this is about you staying true to yourself, staying and doing your work and not getting veered off to carry someone else's water, okay? Make sense? All right, or wood as it is, chalkwood, okay? All right, so we have the folks online. We have Stephen. Hello, Stephen. Hello. All right, so what's Stephen need to know this week? Upside down, we've got not for you, and this is 6. Okay, so this is 6. This is not for you. And so this card, so you can see, this is the window, and the window shades are drawn, and you have the fortune cookies, and this is, if you'll look, Spirit is holding up the table, the platter that the fortune cookie is on. That says, hey, it's important you're not taking someone else's cookie. Okay, first of all, this is important that you are also, staying in your lane is going to be a big theme today, it feels like. So you're staying in your lane, you're eating your own cookie, you're not eating someone else's cookie, but you're also not trying to take someone else's fortune. And what that means is you're not trying to open up someone else's fortune cookie, see their fortune, and then you're going to try and do it or fix it for them. So this is another card that's really about staying in your lane and make sure you're following your own path of fortune, and you're not trying to create someone else's fortune or make a path for them, okay? So this is about Spirit is guiding you and holding up your fortune cookie, but it's important that you know that you're eating your fortune cookie and following your guidance and not trying to make your guidance fit someone else or make someone else's guidance fit for you. Okay, so there's a whole lot of staying in the lane today, staying in our own lane. Okay, Ellen. Brenda, you are welcome, my friend. All right, Ellen. Okay, so Ellen, this is the peace card, and this is 23, so 2 and 3 is 5, so you're in the, you are very welcome, Stephen. So Ellen, you are in the right way, so you have, the peace card is all green, and I know the light in here is so bad, so it's hard to see, but this is all green and yellow, and this is a meadow with beautiful sunshine, and, you know, little breeze, and this is the egg of possibility, okay, the egg of potential, okay, everything is possible that's in here. And so what they're talking to you about is being at peace, because there's nothing you need to worry about right now, okay. So they're talking about that things are moving forward the way they're supposed to be moving forward in this card, be at peace, okay. And so this is a reminder for you that things are going, there are things we can control and things we can't control, and that this is a reminder for you to allow, like the blessed card, to enjoy the potential. And this is also a time of fertile imagination, okay? So this is a time that says, what would I create? What could I create? What would I bring into the world? What could I, you know, what? Because this is a card of total possibility, okay? This card is being at peace, but you still have this egg of potential in here that says, we've got everything, now it's your turn to create, okay? So Ellen, what is it that you would create? What would you cultivate? What would you bring out into the world? Because you literally have the egg of possibility sitting in the beautiful meadow saying, I'm ready to go. Where are we going? What are we doing? So this is a time to let your imagination go and not let that voice in your head that says, you can't do that. Tell that woman to shush, okay? This is a time for you to say, well, what if I did? What if I could? Why couldn't I? This is my favorite. Why couldn't I? Okay, why couldn't I? What is my next best step to moving myself forward? And why couldn't I? Okay, I just watched, I don't know if you guys have been following the, what was it, Imagination 4, the SpaceX spaceship that took the 4 civilians to space. And to listen to there's a documentary on Netflix, and to listen to this, you know, 20-something girl who survived childhood cancer, who has a metal rod in her leg, the most unlikely astronaut, who grew up to be a physician's assistant at St. Jude Hospital, where she was treated and cured, and she's the first astronaut with a physical impairment in a prosthesis. And to listen to these people talk, and she was like, well, why can't I? And then part of the training was they had to hike up Mount Rainier? The mountain in Washington State, the big giant, you know, I mean, that's a big damn mountain. They walked for 9.5 hours in the snow to climb to the top of that mountain. And she's like, I didn't think I could do it, but I didn't think I couldn't do it. Why couldn't I? And so Ellen, this is a time to be like, well, why not? Okay, that's it, right? For you right now, the lights are green, why not? All right, Sharon. And also it's a very good documentary if you're interested. Very little Elon Musk. But just very fascinating story about how that all came together. Sharon, this is new gift. Okay, what number is this? 39. Okay, the air conditioning just kicked on in the room, and my computer's on the desk, and when the air conditioning kicks on, the desk does this little vibrate. So if it looks like I'm shaking, that's why. All right, new gift. So this is 39, so 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 is 3. Okay, so this is 3. Now I love 3 because 3 always feels to me like a butterfly with closed wings. So we know the potential, we know the possibilities, anything could happen, we could take flight at any moment. So I love 3. But this is new gift. It says something wonderful is coming, and our job is to be open to it. Okay, so Sharon, something wonderful is coming. Don't miss it because we're so busy looking for like the other shoe to drop, okay? So this is like, and this is not an all that glitters thing that's like, oh, beware of things that are too good to be true. This is definitely like a new gift, it says. And look how much she's celebrating and how joyful she is. So this is also a reminder for us to celebrate the sweetness of things that, like we talked about before, that maybe are not so sweet. So be open, because our job is not to miss it when the gift comes in, okay? Because sometimes we get, you know, where it doesn't look like what we thought, and then maybe we look past it because it's not what we expected. Now, because I know there's some things that are going on for Sharon, I really feel like this is an important card for some things for you and your family. So this card, take this card as an affirmation of love and support from the universe and of positive tidings coming your way soon, okay? So hold on to that, and I pray that that will bring you some peace as well. All right, so we have Chris. Mount Rainier, yes. It's a big dang mountain. You know, sometimes when you fly out of Seattle, you get a really good view of it. I mean, it's a big dang mountain. I don't know that I'd want to climb up on that mountain. I mean, that was very tall, 9.5 hours. All right, so Krista, this card is upside down. This is co-create, number 40. Okay, so co-create. So it comes in upside down, and this is a reminder that you don't have to do it all yourself. Okay, so here you have the owl of wisdom out on the high wire out there. We have in over the water. We have the cheetah, the strength, and amen to that, my friend. We're praying for you and your family all the time on our prayer list. So we have the cheetah of speed and intelligence. We have the owl of the wisdom. And then down here we have the egg of potential and creativity. Okay. And so this is all the things that are in the potential, that are in the egg, as all possibilities. Okay. But so this card comes in upside down. And so this is 40. So remember, 4 legs of the chair or table, we have that support. But when we have this card upside down, it says, hey, stop trying to do it all yourself. Okay, we want to ask for help. We want to welcome help. We want to welcome co-creation. This card is co-creation. When we have it upside down, it's like, hey, just as a reminder, you have help, and that can be from spirit. It could be from Grandma Pat. It could be from friends and neighbors, so we don't have to do things alone. And so actually neighbors just came out of my mouth, and that felt very like my tongue vibrates when I say this. And so I want to say to you, have you met your neighbors yet? And because I know you're living in a new apartment, and so have you met your neighbors yet? So it might be a very good thing for you to meet your neighbors, because that feels like I was supposed to say that. So we're going to say that. All right, because when something, I say it and my tongue just goes, I'm like, oh, let's go back and finish that thought. All right, so let's do one more card for the everyone, for the collective. And so this is beautiful polar bears, and I love this card. It's so cute. This is leg up, but it's also, again, upside down today. So 34, card 34, so 3 and 4 is 7. So 7, people look at 7 as not a lucky number. I think 7's a lucky number. It tells us that we're continuing on, we're moving forward, we're making progress. But this is leg up. And so this card is a little baby polar bear is climbing up on the mama polar bear. And this card was upside down. So again, it reminds us that we are not alone. It reminds us that we can ask for help. But it also reminds us that we're not doing someone else's job. Because if you'll notice, mama polar bear is not she's not picking up the polar bear to put him on her back. She's letting the polar bear climb, but she is helping by being stable and steady and strong and being a solid thing for the 4 legs for the baby to climb up on. Okay, so this reminds us that we're not alone. We don't have to do it alone, but at the same time, we don't want to do someone else's work for them. So we want to stay in our lane this week, very much stay in our lane, especially with all the retrogrades that we've been talking about. Stay in our lane. Okay, no big decisions this week. Okay, no contracts, no, if you can hold it for another couple weeks, so much the better. And I'll be back in my office, I believe, for next Monday. I look forward to having you all with me again. And as always, please remember how very much you are loved by me, by the universe, by our community. You are such a big part of our family of light, and we are so blessed to have you with us. So have a wonderful week. Stay in the positive, stay in your lane, and we'll see you next week. Mwah.